Hey everybody, Green Blooded Bastard here, back again. This week's podcast commentary was a long time coming, but also a request, so I figured I'd pound it out quick. Got a little time today before work. Breaks me and makes me want to cry. This, as you can tell from the file, is X-Men, the one that kind of kicked it in overdrive for the beginning of modern superhero movies. You know, the 1-2 punch like X-Men, Spider-Man, and the shit just started blowing up. So we're here. Let's do it. Sync point, First from Black, right after the 20th Century Fox logo. When you see that, press pause. I'll say 3, 2, 1, pause. We're going to watch this, okay? So if you're ready, strap in. 3, 2, 1, unpause. Mutation. We evolve, we do crazy shit. We gotta teach people about mutations, because they don't know shit, even though they've been reading X-Men comics for fucking 40 years. Nah. Fuckers. Whatever. It's good. The beginning of these are kind of cool. This was still at the time we were getting all this kind of shit, because, you know, like, CG and animation, you know, mixing together more and more. Late 90s, early 2000s, you were getting this crap. But that is kind of cool, because, you know, they, like, I think, what is it, the second one that goes through, like, the brain or one of them, you know, they're, like, showing genes and fucking DNA and all this shit. Like, these are kind of fun. I'm sorry if my chewing will annoy anyone. I'm very hungry. Got some delicious Popeyes here. Now we're gonna pound it out. Anyways, so I'm recording this in 2024, obviously. This movie's about 24 years old, but I just started listening to the Rob Liefeld podcast, Robservations. It's interesting, you know, but he was talking over a few episodes about this movie he, you know, kind of developed. Tom Cruise didn't want to do it, but then Will Smith kind of jumped on board for a while. And it's got basically a similar scene to this in his script that he wrote like several years before this. I'm just like, goddamn. Like, why are people taking, like, especially all these streaming services? Because they're always looking for new content, because content is king for them, obviously. But it's like, why are you taking all these scripts that are still out there, even if you don't produce them as live action, produce them as, like, high quality animation? I mean, we're getting to the point we got great animation that you can produce. I don't want to say easier than ever, but more economically, you know, than ever. Also, easier than the old cell, you know, painted and all that shit by hand stuff, but like, yeah, let's get that one. You know, that sounded kind of like a Matrix type movie that came out, or it was written before the Matrix, but very similar from what he described. It's like, put that out. X-Men First Class, I found it interesting that they tied back to this and then expanded on it in an interesting way. Gave it more power and a twist, you know. We'll get to that eventually. I just caught part of that on TV the other day. Meridian, Mississippi. I gotta say, this is probably a pretty big get for them. Get Anna Paquin. This came out probably 4 years, maybe 3-4 years after The Piano. Wasn't that the movie she was in? This guy looks like a creeper. Now, some meta things I'll bring into here that I'll try not to let. That's a cool effect. Take over is very subtle, but it's cool. Take over. What the fuck? Take over my views on the film about Bryan Singer and possible ties to other things and people, but just footnotes to know and realize and think about. Would you call an ambulance? Yes, but not to live. You know, I think this movie shows an interesting story to come into for, you know, the X-Men story, because we're showing obviously the key characters, the driving thrust of a lot of it happens. Because they're both, well into middle age. You see there's ties to, Nazi Germany and the shit that they, the havoc they were fucking caused in Europe. Informed Magneto's viewpoint. You can't blame him. They fucked over a lot of people in Poland and other countries over there that are still fucked. I mean, some of those countries haven't even rebuilt shit. They're just like, fuck it. Yeah! Fucking, what's his name? Bruce Greenwood or whatever here? He's good. Eric. I've heard all I need to hear, Charles. Ian McKellen's fucking good. Don't get in my way. Like, it's interesting here because if you don't know, like, if you're a parent or just somebody doesn't read comics or watch the cartoon, you don't know about the X-Men really outside, they're superheroes and shit. There's some good intrigue because you're like, okay, like, kid at a fucking concentration camp, by the ghettos, okay. That could have just been the ghettos, actually. I don't know if there's a concentration camp nearby, but end of the road, bitch. It's like a bar in a fucking outhouse. But, you know, we see him have a talk. There's undertones of relationship and understanding. You know, he's like, just do what you want. Just don't get in my way. So it's like, you see there's respect there. You see there's, you know, this is great. Malcolm X / you know, Martin Luther King mentality of, I'm taking violence. I'm taking peace. You know, my way's right. My way's right. Good introduction too. Talk about how different this movie would have been and Wolverine would have been if we would have got Doug Ray Scott. I like how he looks worried for a second. He's like, I thought you said anything goes. He's like, it does, but you'll get pissed. He's like, okay. Probably don't boo a guy that kicks people's ass that much. Just gonna throw that out there. I like how he's like, do. I'm gonna put this down. Oh, shit. You know, it's great. Just think about the happenstance on you know, what happens when you take a left turn instead of a right turn. Like, imagine if Doug Ray Scott would have been here. We might never know who the fuck Hugh Jackman is, or we might just go, oh, that's that guy that was in those couple action movies in the 90s, you know, that got his shit kicked in a few times. I want none of your mutant shit in here. Now here we are, 4 years later. Hugh Jackman, you know, huge star. Made a bunch of money. People love him. Doug Ray Scott. Most people probably don't even know who he is. I would say probably without bringing up his IMDb going, oh, he was in that too. Yeah, I remember that. Probably the one thing that I remember and most people might know him from is because it was a really big movie at the time. Mission Impossible 2. He was the bad guy. He was the bad guy that Ethan was stopping from getting the Chimera virus or whatever it was. You think you'd be able to smell that? I always thought these little fucking truck camper things were cool as a kid. I don't know why. And I grew up and I'm like, I still like to do that. Just get some fucking high-speed internet if I could have a fucking remote job and get the fuck away from people. Pick one, I like it. No, you didn't. Like always just like beef jerky, eat it. Whatever the fuck it is. Several years later, she'll be Sookie Stackhouse. Yeah, I'm just gonna hide that. Don't worry about it. They die. Another great line here. Every time. That's so good. He's like, you're feisty, kid. I like you. They weren't going fast enough for him to go flying through the windshield that fucking hard and far. Okay? Even though his his skeleton, I guess. His skeleton is fucking metal. I don't think that would add enough weight to him to go flying out at that low of speed. And it's funny because in that shot, it looks a lot like what's his name? That played Sabretooth in the Wolverine Origins. Leo Shriver looked very similar. What was this? Taylor Maine, I think, here. She's doing that for fun. I gotta drive through that shit to work in the winter. Like, but worse. This is a fucking walk in the park. Like right here, we're gonna see kind of a cheesy scene, which is you can see the lack of budget and not quite having the superhero vocabulary down for making film. Like just with them pulling it back, like that would have been a little, probably wider shots. Probably a little bit. Obviously, it's a big explosion, but not more necessarily a bigger explosion, but bombastic. A wider shot, more spectacle. Or does that just seem kind of small? Fucking Ray Park is Toad. Love it. There got the girl. I like how he's just got like a fucking. They're living in a cave and he's just got metal shit. He's fucking feeling his ass up, just getting in there. That's fucking showing off her fucking abilities. That was a good sequence with him jumping up. I gotta think with that stance and the way those pants hang on him. I was going back to a comic shot. Where you going? What you doing, you fucker? Like he's just fucking trolling him. Like he's just being a fucking shit. He's just being a fucking prick. Logan, put your shirt back on, Logan. How did that get off? Why are you sitting on my lap, Logan? Bye, Kitty. That girl gets screwed over. She's fucking Kitty. And then, what is it? They have a different... I think maybe it's the same girl, but they have like a different girl, I think, next time. And on the third one, you got fucking... Back in the day, Ellen Page. No, what the hell is his name? Since he transitioned, I don't even... Oh, Elliot, that's what it was. Elliot Page. There's something bummer about some of these. Like, they just recast people from film to film. What's a Magneto? I love it. What the fuck is a Magneto? I love this. Wheels. I like how he just looks at Xavier like, can I just, like, zap this guy? That's so good. Get the fuck out of my head. You don't know shit about me, you old fucking your wheels. What's she doing, fucking prick? Cut to a montage. I don't know if running on water is a power, but okay. Fucking... Pretty sure that's probably supposed to be Jubilee. Do we see Jubilee in that fucking... What's the 90s, which one is that? Age of Apocalypse is the 80s. Dark Phoenix, was that the 90s one? Do we see Jubilee in that one, or... Iceman. Action Man. Eric Lenshaw. We love you, Senator Kelly. don't know about that. We're Americans. Here comes a nice shot. Yeah, it's good. He's a spray painter. He's a fucking, he's a helicopter pilot. He's a fucking toad. He can do it all. She's like, that's not funny, Logan. I have a boyfriend. Sabretooth is just over there looking emo as fuck. Ian McKellen, this is some of his lines. Toad has a wicked tongue. I like that. What are you gonna do to me? Let's just say God works too slowly. Adios, amigos. And then he just fucking gets the fuck out of there. Fucker turns into ooze and he's just like, so be it. You know, the one thing about this whole thing that just doesn't really make sense is how does, like, A, what does this machine supposedly do? B, how does it do it? And C, why is Magneto the only one that can do it? Like, yes, obviously he's a very powerful fucking mutant. But, like, I mean, if it's just magnets, you can do that with normal machinery and fucking, you know, energy. Like, he's like, God damn. That sounds like a fucking mistake, Professor. Considering you hid that part of her away for years, as we find out in prior or later movies. I guess the prior movies too, if you start from first class. Which I thought about, but I'm like, fuck it. I'll just go balls deep in this one and then jump back and watch them. Even though there's some continuity problems, I think it still plays out a little better to play him, you know, in this sequence. She's like, I'm gonna wear red. There are some creepy, I don't know. There's some weird ties with Bryan Singer and him, and what's his name there, James Marsden. I like James Marsden, but after watching that fucking series about all the shit that happened at fucking, what was it, behind the scenes, was that Nickelodeon or one of them with all those kid shows? Definitely fucking creepy. Because he was one of the people that signed like letters supporting this other guy, and every other name that comes out of there, a lot of them, and it's like, okay, well, you tie to this guy ties to that guy, and it's like, I don't know, something's going on I don't like. As we see Logan just penetrated her. He's like, I need to touch you. I'm sorry. He stabbed me. Meanwhile, this man's like, shit, son. I love, I love this sequence here. This is pretty great. He's like, what the fuck? Doesn't question it. Isn't really that scared by it. Just goes with the flow. And it's like, shit. That's fucked up. It's like, what the fuck? This is good too. This locks him in there. This is some fucking Jaws shit. That's great. Oh, Stanley. I wonder. Hold on. I wonder. That guy with the fucking mustard right there. Brian Peck. Hold on here. Oh, it's all coming into fucking focus now here. Fucking Brian. So Brian Peck was this guy. He was. I think he was a hot dog guy. Let me look this up quick because it looked like him, and it looks like he's been in a few. A hot dog stand patron, uncredited. Oh. Okay, so this guy Brian Peck, he's done acting and stuff. It looks like he's been in several things with Bryan Singer. Okay, so he was a guy who worked on some of these Nickelodeon shows, and let me get this straight here because I don't want to talk out of hand. He was, I believe, convicted of like some fucking alleged sexual misconduct here, and I think I got convicted for something. But one or two of the people that wrote like letters of support for this guy during this trial against the actor Drake Bell, yeah. One of them was fucking, I believe, Bryan Singer, and one of them was James Marsden. And a few people from couple of the people, or one or two of the people from Boy Meets World, because he was on an episode or two, but that was before they knew, all the shit that happened. And I was like, oh, what are the connections here? Well, there's your fucking connection. He was in Jack and the Beanstalk, that Singer did. Fucking X-Men 2, X-Men. Oh, it's all coming together here. And the shit that allegedly, with the allegations against Bryan Singer, and then the recent ones were going back to the shit with, what was that Nazi movie he was working on? I think they had a settlement. Something like taking pictures of nude fucking minors or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. And he's fucking friends, he's BFFs with fucking Kevin Spacey, and there's some shit going on with Kevin Spacey. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's some fucking pedophile shit going on out here in Hollywood. Fucking Holly weird, as they say. Where the fuck's my motorcycle? He's like, oh shit. Logan, what are you doing here? Hey Logan, what are you doing here, bro? Bobby told me to, bro. Wasn't that good timing, huh? I don't know if that's how that works, but okay. thing, Rogue. He's a fucking weirdo like us too, Rogue. As it's already rolling. You know, like... I think as they say, the train has already left the station here, okay? That guy looks like he could not give one fuck. He's like, yeah, girl, okay, yeah. 17, yeah, okay. I like that. Goes running up the fucking wall. Well, what would be remarkable if it had no magnetic qualities? That would be kind of cool, because then Magneto would be like, oh shit. But that's not how it works. Young people. I got your helmet, you dumb fuck. Stay the fuck out of my way, Charles. There's that horrible accent. At least I've chosen a side. Trying to tell you're fucked. And how does this radiation work? Because if you just need magnetism to fucking make it work, I mean, you can do that without using Magneto. Like, that's what always got me. It's like, really? What do you hate me? This is kind of gross, but I love it. Some fucking good body horror shit. They're like, well, there goes that. She's like, what? Wait a minute. Somebody fucked around with this thing. She's like, this is supposed to be X-Men Blue, not fucking evil guy greenish brown. She's like, yeah, I think I can do this. Come on, stop it. That's just ridiculous. I'm like, where did he come from? Nobody noticed him up there. Like, come on. like I gotta say, there is some cool shit in this last sequence. You know, he's doing pretty good for the money he's got. And not really directing, action-y kind of sci-fi slash, superhero movies that he went on to do more so than anything else. Preach. Preach. If they have anything that can pick up our jet, they deserve to catch us. He just sounds like a badass, and we're finally gonna get to see it. We see it more and better in the next movie, but you know they do a good job introducing like the X-Jet, the mansion, the characters here. This is a good origin story for so many characters. Because even though we don't know, like Storm's, origin or Scott's or fucking Jean Grey's, it's still a good introduction to the characters, and the world. And what's going on, the attitudes. And like, just making sure it works. He's like, you don't say. Good thing you didn't lock me in a fucking cell, you cocksucker. That's what he's thinking. Storm already came. Just gonna throw that out there. That was good. That fucking tongue. Give me a break with that goddamn tongue. That's kind of a cool shot. This movie looks a little dated in some scenes, but it holds up pretty well for what it was. What they had and what they were learning on the go. Because if you see the evolution from this one to X2, it's like, okay, if the first one was like 85%, this is like fucking. This is 100%. We're there. Here comes one of the worst lines of the movie. Or did we hear it before? Same thing as everything else. You think saying Logan is at you? You ask that if it is what's her fuck. You think she'd say no? It is me. It's me, Mystique. You're not part of the group. I like that. Prove it. You're a dick. It's so good. You go from one of the worst lines in the movie to one of the best, like, 2 minutes later. It's so fucking good. You sure you saw what you saw? He's like, yeah, I'm not righteous. I'm a dick. I gotta say, I was never really a fan of Magneto in anything. Like, I mean, I like Ian McKellen. Obviously, he's great, but like, cartoons and comics, like he's just a fucking twat. Like, he's like, this is gonna fucking hurt. It'd be a cool fucking shot here where he's like sliding off the edge and using his fucking claws like swing back up. That's, yeah, right here. probably one of the coolest fucking things in this fucking movie. It's a cool ass shot. And then it just falls away. Fucking awesome. That's fucking sweet. Boom! He just goes flying. Meanwhile, Ian McKellen's like, God damn, he's been letting me down fucking all movie. He's like, you're pretty good for for a crazy little shit. I like how that shit happens to her hair. That's cool. They're all like, oh god, what the fuck is that shit? He's like, what the fuck? I I have a shot. No, you don't. He's like, you just can't keep your hands off me, eh? She's like, I have a boyfriend. Henry Gyrick. Who the fuck was that? That's a name I remember here. You're back, Logan. Oh, you're back. You know, I always liked Rogue's relationship with Logan in the comics. I was always a fan of Rogue too. He's like, I might steal it. This is a nice setup for what we get in the next movie. Oh, yes. Yes, we're friends. Yes, you're gonna fucking change me. Definitely cool, but upgraded. And the fucking sequel here. Well, folks, it's what that's the first one in the bag right there. That's all she wrote. We're done. We got through it. Hopefully, it didn't make you vomit. That's not good if you do that. But yeah, thanks for listening. Leave some reviews, feedback. Ask for movies. Do what you want. I don't know if I mentioned on here yet, but I created a fucking Instagram account. I don't know what for. I don't care. I just got bored one day, so maybe I'll start posting some more stuff on there and put like some of my rando art projects and stuff I'm doing, and maybe just links to episodes. I think my episodes are going on YouTube now. I don't know. Check it out. Just fucking search Green Blooded Bastard. You'll probably find it. Otherwise, whatever. I'm too old for this shit. Adios.